Hi, I'm Thomas Radcliffe. I'm 74 years old, and if you saw me today, you'd probably think I've been healthy my whole life. I'm active, lean, and I still wake up every morning with energy to spare. But let me tell you, it wasn't always like this. In fact, in my 40s, I was on the brink of a health crisis that could have ended very differently if it weren't for one thing: yoga. Back in my 40s, I was a workaholic. I owned a small construction business, and between managing projects and keeping the company afloat, I was running on fumes. My diet consisted of greasy takeout and coffee, my sleep was a joke, and exercise was something I did only when carrying heavy tools on site. The stress started creeping in, first as headaches and fatigue, then as constant back pain. I brushed it off for years until one day I collapsed on a job site. The doctors diagnosed me with severe hypertension, a herniated disc, high cholesterol, and early signs of heart disease. They handed me a long list of medications and a warning: if you don't make some changes, you won't see 50. That moment was my wake-up call, but I didn't know where to start. I tried gym memberships and fad diets, but nothing stuck. My body was stiff and aching, and I didn't have the energy to lift weights or run on a treadmill. That's when a friend, an old college buddy I hadn't seen in years, suggested yoga. "It'll help with your back and your stress," he said. I laughed. Yoga, wasn't that for flexible people who could twist themselves into pretzels? I couldn't even touch my toes, but desperation has a way of making you try things you wouldn't normally consider. I started with a beginner's class at the local community center. To say it was humbling would be an understatement. I was the only guy in the room, and my stiff, aching body resisted every pose. Downward dog felt like torture. Child's pose? Forget it. But the instructor, a kind woman named Sophia, told me something that stuck. Yoga isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up. So I kept showing up, week after week. Slowly, my body started to change. My back pain eased, my posture improved, and I found myself sleeping better than I had in years. Sophia also introduced me to specific yoga poses and practices tailored to my health conditions. For my hypertension, she suggested pranayama or breathwork, particularly alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Sitting comfortably, I would place my thumb over one nostril, inhale deeply through the other, then switch nostrils for the exhale. This simple practice, done for 5 minutes daily, helped calm my nervous system and brought my blood pressure down. For my herniated disc, Sophia guided me through gentle stretches like Cat-Cow Marjariyasana Tilasana and Sphinx pose. Cat-Cow involves moving between a rounded back and an arched back on all fours, which helped relieve tension in my spine. Sphinx pose, where I would lie on my stomach and prop myself up on my forearms, gently strengthened my lower back without strain. These poses became part of my daily routine, and over time, I noticed significant relief in my back pain. For overall stress management and better sleep, I practiced restorative yoga. Poses like legs up the wall, Viparita Karani, and reclining bound angle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, became my go-to favorites. In legs up the wall, I'd lie on my back with my legs resting vertically against a wall. It was surprisingly calming, helping me unwind after long days. These poses, paired with mindfulness meditation, transformed how I dealt with stress. After a few months, I expanded my practice to include morning stretches at home. I started with just 10 minutes a day, focusing on simple poses like seated forward bends, gentle twists, and Warrior Roman II, Virabhadrasana Roman 2 for balance and strength. Over time, I discovered a style of yoga that resonated deeply with me, Hatha Yoga. Its slow, deliberate movements and emphasis on breathing were exactly what my stressed-out body and mind needed. By the time I hit my 50s, I was a different man. My blood pressure was under control, my back pain was a thing of the past, and I'd even lost the extra weight I'd been carrying for years. My cholesterol levels normalized, and my energy levels soared. But yoga didn't just transform my physical health, it reshaped my outlook on life. It taught me patience, mindfulness, and the importance of self-care. I started approaching challenges with a calm, steady mindset instead of reacting with stress and frustration. Fast forward to today. At 74, I'm still practicing yoga every single day. My routine has evolved over the years, and now I mix hatha with some elements of vinyasa for a bit more flow and energy. My mornings begin with a 30-minute session of sun salutations, Warrior I Virabhadrasana I, Triangle Pose Trikonasana, and Tree Pose Vrikshasana for balance, followed by 10 minutes of deep breathing. On weekends, I join a small group class in the park, where we practice under the open sky. What amazes me the most is how yoga has kept my body resilient. While many of my peers struggle with joint pain, limited mobility, or chronic illnesses, I can still bend, stretch, and move with ease. Last year, I even hiked a challenging trail in the Rockies with my grandchildren. Yoga hasn't just preserved my health, it's enhanced my ability to enjoy life. I often tell people who are skeptical about yoga, it's never too late to start. You don't need to be flexible or fit, you just need to be willing. Begin with small steps, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Find a style that suits you, whether it's gentle hatha, restorative yoga, or even chair yoga if mobility is an issue. Yoga isn't a quick fix, but it's a powerful, sustainable way to nurture your body and mind. Looking back, I'm grateful for that tough period in my 40s. It forced me to confront my health and find a better way to live. Yoga didn't just help me recover, it gave me a new lease on life. And as I roll out my mat each morning, I'm reminded of how far I've come and how much life I still have to look forward to.